The animal was faster, stronger, and built to survive. Your ancestor was slow, bare-skinned, carrying no claws. And yet across every open plain your bloodline ever walked, it was the animal that ended up dead, not your ancestor. Not because your ancestor outran it, not because he overpowered it, but because he played an entirely different game. A horse hit 70 kilometers an hour. Your ancestor never broke 25. Picture the enormous gap between them. The animal is gone in seconds. A blur no man could touch. He doesn't try. He just watches, then starts walking after it. Not running, not sprinting, not even hurrying, just walking. By sundown, that animal is dead, and he is not breathless. For most of your bloodline's time on this planet, speed was the loser's game. Your ancestors won by refusing to play it. Scientists Dennis Bramble and Daniel Lieberman laid out the evidence in 2004, pointing at something no other large hunter could do. Your ancestor had one advantage buried in his flesh, turning every fast and frightened creature into something he could simply outlast. Picture a gazelle. The instant it spots him, it detonates. One heartbeat grazing, the next a streak of dust tearing away. It vanishes behind scrub before he has taken 3 steps. It won. That is what your eyes tell you, and they are right briefly, because here is what that gazelle cannot do. It cannot cool itself while it runs. That is the hidden fatal flaw inside its speed. Every 4-legged animal dumps heat the same way, by standing still and panting, breath chained completely to stride while galloping. The moment it sprints, the one thing keeping it from cooking inside its own skin shuts off completely. The heat has nowhere to go. A gazelle's core temperature can spike 4.5 degrees in a hard run, enough to push a body past the point of no return. So it has to stop, stand, and gasp the heat back out. The instant it stops, the slow figure reappears on the far horizon. The chase is not a race. It is a slow execution dressed up as one. The animal burns while your ancestor spends almost nothing. Run, recover. Run, recover. Each recovery is shorter, each sprint hotter, until the heat wins and the body surrenders completely. The gazelle overheats, its engine redlining, until it quietly powers down and folds into the grass. The hunter walks the last few meters. He finishes it with a stone. Not power, not speed, just patience, arriving inevitably at the end of something already decided miles back. But the slow walk was never the real weapon. The weapon was something stranger, happening behind the hunter's eyes the entire time. The gazelle is gone, over the rise out of sight. No dust left hanging. By every rule of the hunt, the trail should be dead. The hunter crouches. In the dirt is a scuff no wider than a thumb, a blade of grass bent wrong, a track still damp at the edge. To you, it is nothing. To him, it is a sentence, and he reads it the way you are reading this line right now. Certain and without effort. The animal went this way. It is tiring. It favors the left side. It stopped here longer than it did at the last spot. He has not seen the gazelle since it vanished. He does not need to. He is not chasing the animal, but the story it leaves behind. Long before anyone wrote a word, your ancestors ran the first science on Earth, gathering signs and building theories from the dirt, predicting where a creature they could not see would be, and testing that prediction with their own feet crossing the open land. A wrong guess meant the trail went cold and the family went hungry. So the brains that guessed right are the ones that became yours. And underneath that brain ran the engine that made everything possible. Your ancestor having shed nearly all his fur long ago. Millions of tiny valves grown in his skin, each one weeping water to pull heat off the body as fast as the body built it up. A cooling system running on nothing but sweat and patience, while the animal had only a gaping mouth and nowhere to put the heat. Bare skin, a million little valves, and a brain that reads the dirt like a page. That was the combination, and it worked everywhere. But your ancestors did not stop at turning themselves into the perfect hunter. They started turning the land itself into a weapon. Picture a herd at a dead run, 100 animals pouring across the flat in a solid river of muscle, moving at full speed. On either side of them, a low wall of stacked stone. They do not slow. Walls mean nothing to a sprinting animal, feeling open ground. The 2 walls lean toward each other, a kilometer ahead, where they almost touch, hidden until the final stride. Earth drops away. The herd does not run into a trap. It runs into a trap that was built long before any of them were born. Designed around their nature. Across the deserts of the Middle East, archaeologists have found more than 6,000 of these stone funnels, some kilometers long. When a research team confirmed what they were in 2022, the scale of it landed hard. These were kill machines drawn across whole valleys, and they are not even the oldest version. On an island off Japan, hunters dug rows of pits and drove animals over them 30,000 years ago. Think about what that means for the animal. It could outrun the man. It could never outrun the ground that had been quietly rebuilt around it. By the time it was sprinting down that stone corridor, the contest was already decided years earlier by people who had studied it completely. They studied how it moved, where it migrated, which way it bolted when afraid, and shaped the entire landscape around the answer they found. The gazelle was fast, but it was running through a world quietly rebuilt to catch it by minds that had read its kind for 10,000 years. Your body does not know the herds are gone. It does not know the stone traps have crumbled, that nothing waits to be run down anymore. It only knows the old arrangement, that it was built to sweat, to track, to keep moving long after everything else has had to stop. Nobody talks about this when they picture ancient humans as the weaklings of the animal world. They were not slow because they lost any race. They were slow because they were never running the race the animal thought it was in. They were playing an entirely different game altogether. The gazelle overheats in the dust. The brain reads the story in the dirt. The valley is reshaped into a killing ground. One thing seen at 3 depths, the animal was always playing the game it could see: speed, distance, the next ridge. Your ancestors played the game it could not see at all. A game made of time and patience and the slow rearranging of the world around one certainty: it will tire before we do. Always. Picture it one last time. An animal at full gallop across open ground, faster than anything your kind ever was. Every muscle screaming toward freedom, and somewhere behind it, too far back to matter, a single figure walking, not hurrying, not even watching that hard, just moving forward. The animal is running a race. Your ancestors never entered that race. They were the patience the race was run against, and patience catches everything.